on my website. But the more that I sit back and put it into perspective, AJ Styles is a legend. He's known all over the world. And if it wasn't going to be Daniel Bryan or someone like a Randy Orton, he was going to win the championship from Sting Brock Lesnar. It had to be AJ Styles. AJ Styles proved that he's an elite athlete. I also appreciated the promo work and the follow to their match at the Royal Rumble from John Cena, putting over AJ Styles rather than referring to him as a guy from Atlanta. I found it to be very disrespectful, as I did him saying that he didn't wrestle on the independents like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan had done. He was built for the WWE, found that very disrespectful to every indie worker. Again, not going to get into that, but I appreciated the reviews AJ Styles and John Cena got. So if there is a match of the night outside of the Royal Rumble, be it that I'm extremely frustrated from the fallout of the Royal Rumble this year, it had to be AJ Styles and John Cena. And for its brutality and how Braun Strowman cost Roman Reigns the championship just because Braun Strowman cost Roman Reigns the championship in a brutal match. Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, you made that match stand out for its brutality, and I have to thank you for a match that I was extremely not confident about. I had my doubts about this match going into it, but for its brutality, it was a pretty good match, and it's deserving of having a rematch. Kevin Owens really showed dedication to wanting to be Universal Champion, picking up the ball, running with it with Finn Balor. I know people had their doubts in Kevin Owens. Some people didn't have as much doubt as many people, the majority of people did, but the people who didn't doubt Kevin Owens were proven right because Kevin Owens has been a great Universal Champion ever since he's been Universal Champion. I've met a lot of people who like Kevin Owens, more people who don't. But he's doing a great job for the time that Finn Balor has been on the DL. So by the time people like Finn Balor resurface in WWE, hopefully Kevin Owens' reign as Universal Champion will end appropriately in appropriate fashion. I know people were probably thinking he was going to lose at the Royal Rumble, but if I had to make an early prediction or any prediction going into that match, then I would choose Owens over Reigns any day because Reigns is just not popular enough in my eyes to be Universal Champion or any champion in WWE. The kickoff show had a lot of great matches on it, more matches than what I expected. We also had a lot of appearances by legends like Shawn Michaels, but Nia Jax and Sasha Banks, great match. I think that this is going to go a long way in determining one or two, or maybe even more, number one contenders for the Women's Championship by WrestleMania 33. What I'm looking at for WrestleMania 33, be at the conclusion of the Nia Jax Sasha Banks matches recently, is a fatal four-way for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 33. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. We have Sasha Banks, we have Bayley, we have Charlotte, the defending champion, and Nia Jax factoring in as one of the latest new talent wrestlers who are up in contention for that championship, with possibly Nia Jax or Bayley emerging. The early prediction I'm making is Bayley over Nia Jax because of her popularity, the Bayley buddies, the connection she's always had with the WWE fans. Wouldn't shock me at all if Bayley came out of WrestleMania and the supposed fatal four-way I'm looking at as your women's champion, or even if it came into Bayley and Sasha Banks feuding over the championship, say Sasha Banks wins the title for the fourth time between now and WrestleMania 33, which probably is not going to happen. Bayley and Sasha Banks would be a good match to have outside the Fatal 4-Way, but the Fatal 4-Way is the more obvious one to have. The six-women tag team match from SmackDown Live, obviously hyping up for things involving Mickie James and Alexa Bliss and Naomi and Becky Lynch. Alexa Bliss losing the decision to Naomi, putting Naomi over obviously as the next challenger for the championship. Looking forward to seeing what's happening there, but Alexa Bliss is a shoe-in to win because she's doing a great job representing SmackDown Live as a SmackDown Live Women's Champion. So really, the Royal Rumble card ultimately was better than the actual Royal Rumble match, and that's the first time I believe I've said that in years. But who can blame me for feeling the way that I did about the Royal Rumble? The Undertaker being eliminated by someone like Roman Reigns, ridiculous. How Randy Orton was chosen as your winner of the Royal Rumble, that was ridiculous. Goldberg's entry into the match, taking Seth Rollins out of the match, that's 4 or 5 cons that I have about the Royal Rumble this year. I have more cons about the Royal Rumble than I do pros. And who really blames me at the end of the day? Because you probably have more cons than you do pros than I do on your list of cons and pros that you got out of this year's Royal Rumble. I don't think anyone was satisfied about this year's Royal Rumble, and I can't say I blame you at the end of the day because it's ridiculous how we see WWE doing this and getting away with it all the time. I think we need to let more of our voices be heard about WWE and their current direction, because their direction right now is one of the worst directions that I've seen since at least 2003, 2004. And the funny thing was, years ago, in 2003, I threw so much criticism towards WWE for the direction back in '03, and I have more criticism 13 or 14 years later here in 17 than I ever did about 2003. And ultimately, 2003 is looking like Disneyland to WWE here in 2017, because really, to me, 2017, 2016 has been ridiculous so far, and I don't see them turning it around anytime soon. There still is time for them to change their creative direction, but it's going to be up to them at the end of the day, by the time the dust is settled and the smoke is clear, to change that direction and get us saying more positive things about WWE. But right now, I don't really see that happening after the disastrous Royal Rumble. And here's another issue that I have with it. I saw the first Royal Rumble from the Alamo Dome in 1997. I've been very proud to pontificate myself for being one of the fans who watched that pay-per-view in 1997. It was my first major wrestling pay-per-view that I had watched back in 1997. And to see the Royal Rumble be so fantastic in 97 and return to the Alamo Dome, the same location, over 50+ thousand people, a difference of about 12 or 13,000 who were in attendance for Shawn Michaels and Sid for the championship, be so ridiculous. It really frustrates me and makes me think about, what kind of direction are we headed in this close to WrestleMania and for the entire year of 2017. Someone has got to get off their ass, be more creative, get those creative juices flowing, and give us something more creative to talk about and to be excited about. Because if we're still heading in this direction by June, that'll be at the halfway point of 2017, I shudder to think what kind of position or what kind of predicament we're going to be in or face with. I don't even want to begin to, put into perspective what kind of predicament and circumstances we're going to be faced with or dealing with by the halfway point, which will be June of 2017, because the Royal Rumble, its winner in Randy Orton, how it was orchestrated was ridiculous. You shouldn't have taken Seth Rollins out of the match. You shouldn't have had Randy Orton win the match. You shouldn't have had the entry numbers be the way they were laid out. It was just ridiculous. More cons than I had pros coming out of this year's Royal Rumble, and I think I can go on record for saying, if not for the attendance and other things that you can kind of mention and throw in there, I think I can get away with saying it was the most ridiculous and unstructured Royal Rumble that we had seen in years. How do you feel about it? You can get in on the conversation from the fallout of the 2017 Royal Rumble and let me know what you think. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, some of the ways, along with others, you can get in on my show's conversation. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I can say with 100% confidence I was not pleased or satisfied with the fallout of the Royal Rumble. And at the end of the day, who can blame me? I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, leaving it at that, and I will talk to you again next week. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my show's conversation happening all throughout social media. I will see you next week.
HEW Entertainment Radio is a production of HEW Entertainment on their official website and broadcasts on social media. You can join the conversation on our Facebook page at HEW Entertainment, follow and listen to our show on Twitter at Jonathan Clarke 1, and watch us on our YouTube channel at Jonathan Clarke 22. Hosted and produced by Jonathan Clarke out of Canada. If you have any questions on our radio broadcast, you can email us at jonathanclarke2005 at hotmail.com. Thank you for listening.